Hi, I'm Danny with Skinner Guitars. Today I'm going to show you how I built the cabinets for this small guitar amplifier out of some discarded mahogany door trim. And when I'm done, I'll play through it for you a little bit and show you what it sounds like. So let's get started. Because I'm recycling this mahogany door trim, I need to work around the fact that it was profiled to be, well, door trim. It's not rectangular in cross-section. To overcome this issue, I just used two of them, face to face but top to bottom. And this gives me the shape I need in order to build anything out of it. Like that. I glue enough of these up to give me what most builders would consider the raw materials for constructing panels. After gluing up my matched pairs, I stacked them on large clamps and clamped some cawls across the top and bottom to keep everything aligned as I applied firm clamping pressure to the stack. I used sawdust to soak up the glue squeeze out. The next day, I used my 6-inch jointer to clean up the side grain surfaces of each of my boards to give me nice tight joints for my next glue up. Back in my clamps, I apply glue to the freshly jointed surfaces and create panels 3 boards wide for my speaker cabinet and 2 boards wide for my head cabinet. There goes my sweet dog Jed. Once everything is glued up, I close my clamps on the bottom of the panels and put clamps across the top as well to act as cawls. I use firm but gentle clamping at the joints on the ends of the panels to keep the boards aligned throughout their entire length. The next day, I pull my clamps and run my 2 board panels through my jointer to clean up the faces. My 3 board panels won't fit through the jointer, so I just opt to sand those faces as flat as I can with my random orbital and oscillating belt sander. I don't need these surfaces to be perfect. They just need to look pretty and feel nice to the touch. I had to glue up 1 more stack of boards to be cut into supports, braces, a frame for the grill screen, and 1 more panel for the speaker baffle. While I did not successfully record the actual box glue up, I came up with a way to demonstrate my process. I made these little panels to show you how everything went together. It's a very simple box joint at each corner of both cabinets, male ends on the top and the bottom and female on both sides. It's a strong joint and I love how it looks. So here are the basic cabinet carcasses, roughed out and ready for a little refinement. It's nice and square and solid. No matter how precise your joinery, there will always be little gaps to fill and imperfections to camouflage. Depending on how debilitating one's perfectionism is, it's possible to over-agonize about every detail. I said I don't need it to be perfect, and that's perfect, because it won't be. But it will be perfect for what I need it for. And plenty pretty at the same time. Here I'm cutting what will be my speaker baffle to size on my table saw. It's being cut to precisely the right dimensions to be a friction fit inside the front of the cabinet. It's not going to be a friction fit, but it'll be sized for one. After sanding it smooth, I find the center of the baffle, marking from corner to corner in both directions. I use a simple shop-made compass to draw a perfect circle the diameter of my 8-inch speaker. I pick a random spot inside of that circle to drill a hole big enough for my jigsaw blade and cut it out. It's a rough cut well inside of my line, so I can use my spindle sander to finish the job. I center my speaker on the hole and draw a line around it to locate the mounting area on my baffle. I rounded over all of my corners as a bit of an afterthought, and here I'm just smoothing over all of that. Using my table saw, I cut the final board into strips to use as internal bracing for the cabinets. It will add structural strength to the cabinets and give the baffle, back panel, and head cabinet facing something to attach to. If I know my audience like I think I do, you guys are going to be super excited to learn that I didn't capture any useful footage of me gluing in those braces. I'm stoked too. But here they are already in place. Look how nicely that worked out. I'm doing my final sanding on the frame for the grill cloth. I'm checking for a good tight fit, as this piece will be held in by friction. And now it's time for what can only be described as too much sanding. Like way too much sanding. It's a truly ridiculous amount of sanding. I'm finding it difficult to put into words how much sanding goes on here. I'm not gonna lie. It makes me sad to think about it. So I'm not going to. Oh, thank God it's over. Here I'm gluing the baffle and clamping it into place. I'm putting a small bead of PVA glue around the internal seams of the baffle to act as sort of caulking. Finally, the time has come to add a coat of finish to this thing. Or 6. As you may by now already know, finishing is probably my favorite part of any woodworking project. Never is that more true than when I'm working with mahogany. The way the grain kind of runs both ways at the same time, while also running sort of out, gives the wood a thing called chatoyancy. When oil-based finishes are applied to it, it almost generates its own light. It fluoresces. The best way I can describe it is it looks like it has magic fire inside of it. It's truly amazing. As I'm editing this, I can tell that video doesn't do it justice. I wish that you could see it the way it looks in real life. And I know what you're thinking. No, Danny, it looks amazing. And you're not wrong. It's great. But in person, it is something else. And if you like watching me do this type of thing, it'd be amazing if you'd like, subscribe, comment, and share. Thank you so much in advance. This is the little 9-volt battery-powered amp for which all this trouble was gone to. It's an LM386 based circuit I built about 10 years ago and recently decided it needed a fancy new suit. I also wanted a very portable amp that I could use anywhere to demo my guitars, even without power. And that's how this idea was formed in my head. I built a bigger one just like it to house an 8-watt tube amp I built, but I wasn't making videos at the time. So making this smaller one seemed like a perfect way for me to close that gap. I got these large rubber feet for both cabs on Amazon. They were very inexpensive and they do the job. Same goes for these beautiful suitcase style handles. I don't know for sure that they're leather, but they look like it, and I really love them. They were the perfect finishing touch. When I install finish hardware like this, I always try to use the appropriate size screwdriver and use enough downward pressure to avoid the tool slipping and marring up the chrome. If you look closely, you can see that my grill cloth has some creases that were folded into it. Those have since relaxed out. I'll put a few pictures before my playthrough so you can get a better look. I install an 8-inch Celestion driver that fits this cabinet perfectly. Funny thing is, this little amp has no problem pushing the 12-inch driver from my bigger amp, which is actually kind of crazy to me given that it's powered by a 9-volt battery. Finally, I install and wire the jack plate, hook up the wires to the speaker, and install the back panel of the cabinet. I hope you had as much fun watching this as I had making it. Thanks for watching.